Good morning, lovelies! Today I am breaking down my top 10 favorite fanfic tropes. Or, I guess I should call them tags. Some of you may be asking, Chris, what the hell is fanfiction? Fanfiction, or fanfic, is stories written by fans of and featuring characters from a particular television series, movies, books, whatever. Basically, we write stories about characters and or a setting from a published work totally for free and never taking any credit for those characters or setting. Now, some people do this as a form of therapy, projecting their struggles onto characters that they admire and seeing them overcome that in some way. Others do it as a writing exercise or a way to take a break from the stress of writing our own original works. And still others do it for shits and giggles because we don't really need a reason. Now, there's a myth that all fanfiction is porn, which is like saying all movies are porn. Sure, there's a significant chunk of the genre that is all about sex, but that's the minority. Personally, I very rarely write fanfiction. Usually when someone else's story inspires me, gets me really thinking about how their characters would act in different situations, different ways, or a cool thing about their setting, I'm usually able to isolate that idea, kind of pry it away from the original work, add some ideas from other areas, and then use that creative mush to grow my own original ideas. Writing's a weird process, okay? But sometimes I can't do that. Like, the character or the setting are just too entrenched in that original work, and I can't pull it free. Now, more often than not, especially these days, I'm able to just kind of let that idea die in the back of my head and just not visit it, not let it take up any more time or space. But sometimes that idea will not leave me alone, and it will continue to take up precious brain space when there's already not a whole lot of room up here to begin with, until I purge it out of my system by writing it down. And then I share it on the internet because I'm an attention whore and I feed off of your praise. Reading fanfiction is another matter entirely. Some people watch reality television to unwind. I read fanfic. And I thought that I would share my favorite tags and tropes that I personally look for when I'm browsing fanfiction. Because I'm running out of video ideas, apparently. Before we get started, remember to subscribe to the channel for more videos on science fiction, fantasy, and horror through a feminist lens. And join us on Discord! Everyone who supports this channel on Patreon gets access to the server and this amazing community where we geek out about this stuff, as well as some other free goodies. That link is in the description. And now, to the tropes. Number 1, angst. I am an angst whore. If it don't hurt, I ain't interested. Characters struggling to fit in with the team, two characters pining after each other, characters who think a loved one is dead, whatever it is, I'm here for it. But only if there is a happy ending. I'm not looking for misery porn or tragedies here, alright? Which means I really love seeing, number 2, angst with a happy ending. I need my happy ending. I want my spirit to be torn to pieces, reducing me to an emotional sobbing wreck, and then restore my faith in humanity by giving those characters a happy ending. I don't care how campy or cheesy it is. This is fan fiction, okay? I am not expecting professionals who have spent decades working on the craft to be doing this. And even if these are professionals, they're just taking a break, and I'm not paying any money to read this. Although angst with a happy ending is basically what I look for in original fiction too, as is angst in general, so... Number 3, hurt comfort. The angst is guaranteed to bring emotional pain. Hurt comfort is often physical. For the characters, not me, although it can be emotional too. Often I will search this with a specific character who rarely gets physically hurt in canon, either because they stay away from the fights or are essentially invulnerable and thus can't get hurt. They deserve to have some pain too. Number 4, fluff and angst. Fluff is typically just silly, fun, heartwarming cotton candy stuff. A pure fluff story often doesn't even have a plot. Combine that with angst and it's a recipe for one happy Christina. Number 5, insecurity. I genuinely don't know why I'm so drawn to stories about insecure characters with crappy self-esteem. It's the exact opposite of who I am, so it's not like I'm relating to these characters. I just want to wrap them up in blankets and bubble wrap and tuck them away so the world can never hurt them again. Often fanfic stories about insecurity revolve around friends or loved ones of the insecure character, helping them realize that they are loved and valued, which is my catnip. If I find a story in my fandom that has 4 or 5 of these tags, it's almost guaranteed to be in my bookmarks. Number 6, getting together. I know, given my general attitude toward romantic subplots, which is well documented on this channel, this one should not even be on my radar. Or perhaps it should be on my worst tropes list. But that's romantic subplots. I don't really mind romance, even if it's between a non-canon couple, if it's the main story, if it's the reason we're searching for it, and not creeping up into my otherwise fine speculative fiction media. It has to be combined with at least one of those other 5 tags though, preferably more. Number 7, AU canon divergence. AU stands for alternate universe. It's always fun to think, what if this major event in a story had turned out differently, or had never happened? How would the characters have changed? How would the rest of the story change? It's partially the writer in me seeing what happens to the overall structure of the story when you tinker with certain plot points, but it's also just plain fun. Number 8, AU soulmates. I do not believe in soulmates in real life. The concept of there being one person out there, out of 8 billion, who is supposed to complete you and make you truly happy, especially if it's a romantic partner, is irresponsible. So fanfic stories that I like that do feature soulmates usually involve one or more of the characters realizing that they are soulmates and then not jumping into a relationship just yet. Given my other favorite tags, it's usually some form of insecurity that's keeping them apart that they have to overcome before starting the relationship, achieving their own personal happiness first, and then bringing someone else in. Other times, the 2 characters just decide that they're not ready for a romantic relationship yet and hold off. However, my all-time favorite is platonic soulmates or soulmate families. They're so rare though, and it's so sad, and I hate that. I wrote a Avatar Last Airbender fanfiction a little while ago that had Team Avatar all being platonic soulmates with each other. And to this day, I still get comments from people who are like, oh my gosh, I've never seen a soulmate fic like this before. I've never seen a platonic family fic like this before. Where are all the platonic soulmates? Like, we need more of this. Guys, we need more of this. Fanfic writers, help me. Number 9, de-aged. The premise of a de-aged fic is that one or more adult characters are hit with some sort of spell or scientific accident that makes them a kid again. It usually lasts a few days or even a couple of weeks while the adult characters figure out how to reverse it. And they do. There's the usual kid hijinks, especially if the still adult characters have little to no experience dealing with children. So basically what would happen if I was dealing with like a de-aged roommate. But I especially love it if the de-aged character has some sort of tragic or abusive backstory that their friends don't know about or don't know the extent of, and then it all comes to light over the course of the fic. Angst whore. And number 10, friendship. With so much emphasis in fiction and real life on romance, it's really nice to have a story that focuses on friendship and friend groups. Not just fanfiction, by the way, this extends to all works of fiction. But I do love seeing it here too, because friends are amazing. Those are my favorite fanfic tropes. Tell me yours in the comments. No fighting or judging each other. That's for my least favorite tropes video coming up. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and join the community on Patreon. That link is in the description. Bye, lovelies!